Okay, everybody, so I thought it'd be good to make a video about fractional exponents. What are fractional exponents? Uh, I guess the more proper term would be rational exponents. That's normally the term that you'll hear, but you know what a fraction is. A rational number is a quotient of two whole numbers, so it's a fraction. So let's do this. I thought I would compare and contrast whole number exponents and rational exponents. Like an exponent like a 4, that's a whole number. And an exponent like 2/3, well, that's not a whole number at all. That's a fraction, all right? Now, first, I know what you're thinking. I'm aware that I can do all of this on a calculator. I know that, all right? But I just think it's good to know things. I mean, that's my whole outlook on life is I like to know things. So I like to know how to do things on the calculator. I definitely know how to use this calculator. All these functions that most people probably don't ever use, I know what they do. But I also like to know how to do things on paper, all right? And I think that, if you're in college, you should just want to know things. That's part of being in school. That's part of getting something out of being in school. All right, so we're going to learn how to do this on paper, all right? Now, I think, let's do this. Before we do rational exponents, I do think it's good to review a little bit about roots, all right? Because that's involved in doing all the math for a fractional exponent. So, square root of 16, third root of 8, fourth root of 16, fifth root of 32. Let's do those real quick. First of all, notice how we put this number right there indicating what root we want. And if I don't put anything there, then that means the square root. If you want to write a 2, you can. It'd be a little bit odd to do that, but I mean, there is a number there. It's just understood to be 2. What's the square root of 16? The square root of 16 is 4, okay? Now, I want to give you a reason for that, of course. I'll say because 4 squared is equal to 16. All right, there's my reason. That's why the square root of 16 is 4. And I want you to notice there's a kind of a pattern here. For any of these statements, okay, like let's say this is a true statement right here. The square root of 16 is equal to 4. Okay? If you take this number and raise it to that power, then you should get this number. All right, that's what makes that statement true about a root. 4 squared is 16, so the square root of 16 is 4. All right. What about the third root of 8? I guess I'm looking for a number. Let's see. There's this number, and if I would raise it to the third power, I would get 8. All right. And you'd say, oh, get your calculator out. Now remember, we're not doing that. We're not doing that right now. Okay? We're going to learn how to do it on paper. Is there a number you raise to the third power and get 8? Well, is 1 to the third power 8? 1 times 1 times 1? No, that's not 8. Is 2 to the third power 8? 2 times 2 times 2. That is 8. So that's the number we want. So third power, or third root of 8 is 2. That would be a true statement. Third root of 8 is 2. But always I'll give you my because. All right, here's what I said. 2 to the third power is equal to 8. That's the reasoning behind this. 2 to the third power is equal to 8. That's how every root works. That's how you know it's correct. Okay? All right. 2 times 2 times 2 is definitely 8. You can work that out on paper if you want to. What about the fourth root of 16? Well, again, here's my thought process. There's a number, and if I would raise that number to the fourth power, I would get 16, right? You could think of it like this if you wanted to. What number to the fourth power is equal to 16? That's what we're after. Is 1 to the fourth power 16? Nope. 2 to the fourth power, let's see, 2 times 2 times 2 times, it is 16. It's 2. 2 is the number we want. Fourth root of 16 is equal to 2. It's true. 2 to the fourth power is 16. So that's my because. That's my reason that I'm going to give you. 2 to the 4th power is 16. All right? Try it out. Try it. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. It's 16. Definitely 16. Let's do one more. 5th root of 32. All right. Now, by now, you know what I'm going to say. Remember, we can all these roots, they have the same thought process. What number, if you raise it to the 5th power, is going to give you 32? What number, if you raise to the 5th power, is going to be 32? That's the way I'm thinking about it. And I could just think about numbers till I figure it out. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? And so on and so forth. All right? So this one again is 2. 2 to the 5th power is 32. All right? So true statement. 5th root of 32 is equal to 2. Because 2 to the 5th power is 32. All right. I didn't mean all the answers to be 2. Oh, okay, that bothers me a little bit. Let's do one more. What is the 3rd root of 27? Okay. All right. What am I asking? There's this number out there. And I'm going to emphasize that every root has the same understanding, right? There's this number. If I take that number to the 3rd power, I'll get 27. Is 1 to the 3rd power 27? No, 1 to the 3rd power is 1. Is 2 to the 3rd power 27? No, if you multiply it out, 2 to the 3rd power is 8. Is 3 to the 3rd power 27? Yes, if you multiply 3 times 3 times 3, that is in fact 27. 3 is our answer. The 3rd root of 27 is equal to 3. Okay. All right, I had to think about it. I had to figure out, is it 1, is it 2, is it 3? But it's, it's got to be something. If I look for it, I'll find it. And then here is my reasoning. I'll give you a because. I think the because is real important that I give you that for you to understand it. Okay, now, do we understand roots at this point? I think we probably do. I think we're probably okay with that because they're all really done the same way. Now, let's go back to my original slide right here. What are fractional exponents? Okay, well, whole number exponent. Let's start there. Say take 5 to the 4th power. 4 is the exponent. We call this number 5 the base. The whole number exponents are just repeated multiplication. You multiply the base by itself this many times. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. That happens to be 625 if you multiply it all out. Okay, that's how whole number exponents work. Rational exponents. Okay, well, they look something more like this. 8 to the 2/3 power. Now, here's how you understand a rational exponent. You still have your base number, your number that gets the power, but this number on the bottom is the root of the base, so 3rd root, and then we take whatever that is and we raise it to this power. So the way I would read this is it's the 3rd root of 8, and then I square that. Okay? So that's how it's done. 3rd root of 8, then I square. There's an order you do that. All right, we take the 3rd root and then we square. You could actually do it in the other order, but I think this order is simpler, so I'm just going to tell you that. Okay. All right. So now you know how to understand that. Let's look at some examples. Okay. So 8 to the 2/3 power. Okay, so I explained that would be the 3rd root of 8, then squared. Now, remember how we just talked about how roots are done? All right, yeah, we just talked about that. 3rd root of 8 is 2. All right, so what I'm saying is, like, I'm gonna figure out this number first. Okay, and I got 2. And then, now that I have that, I'm gonna raise it to that power. 2 squared, that's equal to 4. All right, so 8 to the 2/3 power is 4. Now you know how to do that on paper. You know something else. Now, let's try the calculator. Why not? I think it's good to know things. Like I told you, I like to know how to do things. I like to know things. I can do this on paper. I can also do it this way. On my calculator, here's how it's going to look. If I take 8 And then this is my button there that activates the exponent. Okay, and then I can just type 2 divided by 3. So there's 8 to the 2/3 power. This is going to tell me 4 because I know how to do this. I know 4 is the right answer. So I hit enter and it tells me 4. 8 to the 2/3 power is 4. So you could do that in your calculator too, but we're going to learn to do it on paper also. All right. So what about this one? 16 to the 3/2 power. So remember, this bottom number is the power, the top number is the root. That would be the square root of 16, which will then raise to the 3rd power. Okay, that's what that means. Remember, this is the root, and then that's the power. The square root of 16, we'll figure that out, and then we'll take that result to the 3rd power. What's the square root of 16? Well, I reviewed the roots already. If you go back to that page, we find the square root of 16 is 4. We take 4 to the 3rd power. Let's see, 4 times 4 times 4. That turns out to be 64. Okay. All right. 16 to the 3/2 power is 64. Let's try 2 more. All right. What's 16 to the 3/4 power? Now they all have the same meaning, right? On the 16, we're going to apply the 4th root, and then we're going to apply the 3rd power. First we do the root, then the power. That's how I'm going to show you in this video. So let's see, 4th root of 16, and once we figure out what that is, we'll take that to the 3rd power. Okay. Now we reviewed the roots already, so I'm not going to talk about that now, but 4th root of 16, that's 2. Okay. 2 to the 4th power is 16. So 4th root of 16 is 2. Now again, I'm doing this in steps. You know, I'm telling you like one number at a time. I'm telling you this number is 2. All right, now what do you do with that? You take the 2, the result there, to the 3rd power. Let's see. 2 times 2 times 2, that's 8. So your answer is 8. Okay. One more. 4 to the 5/2 power. That'd be the square root of 4, then raised to the 5th power. Let's see about that. Let's see, square root of 4, that's 2, because 2 to the 2nd power is 4. Remember, that's how we learn to do the roots. And then 2 to the 5th power, let's see, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that's 32, all right? Okay, now remember, we can do things on calculator, right? We can do them on paper too. So I'll be happy that you learned how to do something, all right? But let's try it. Let's not that I have any doubt, you know, I don't have any doubt that I'm correct, but we could enter something like this in our calculator if you want to use a handheld calculator like I have here. And what's it, 32? What is it? 32, definitely 32, right? All right. So hopefully you learn 2 things. You learn that you can do it this way, but you can do it with paper and pencil too. It's good to know how to do things.